The snow was falling hard that night, thick flakes biting against her skin, as if the storm itself wanted her gone. Blood seeped through the torn sleeve of her coat, her breath came in ragged gasps, and every step felt heavier than the last. Yet she pressed on, cradling the small, trembling wolf cub against her chest. It whimpered softly, its fur damp and sticky with its own blood, eyes barely open. The men chasing her didn't care that it was a helpless creature. They only cared that wolves had been attacking livestock again, and to them every wolf, young or old, was a threat worth killing. But to Alina, it was different. She had seen cruelty all her life. She had felt abandonment, loneliness, and loss. And when she had stumbled across the cub in the snow, bleeding and cornered by hunters, something inside her refused to let it die. Even if it meant putting herself between the hunters and the creature, she darted behind the trees, heart hammering, her boots sinking into the thick snow. Shouts echoed behind her. There, she went that way. Flashlights pierced through the dark forest like jagged knives. Lena pushed forward, teeth clenched, her body screaming in pain. By the time she reached the edge of her small wooden cabin, tucked deep in the mountain woods, her vision was already blurring. She stumbled through the door, barred it shut, and collapsed to her knees. The cub whimpered again, and she pulled it close, whispering through tears, "You're safe now. I won't let them hurt you." That night was endless. The hunters circled outside, voices growing colder, angrier. "She's hiding it. She pay for this?" Their boots crunched in the snow as they tried to intimidate her. But Alina only tightened her grip on the cub and dragged herself to the hearth, where the fire glowed faintly. She cleaned its wound with shaking hands, pressing scraps of cloth to stop the bleeding. Her strength was draining fast, but her will burned brighter than ever. "Please, live," she whispered to the cub, brushing its small head. "Live, even if I don't." When the night finally broke into dawn, Alina thought she wouldn't see the sun again. Her body was weak, her blood loss making her dizzy. But then, something stirred outside. At first, it was a low growl, then another and another, until the air itself vibrated with the sound. Alina forced herself to her feet, peeking through the frost-covered window. Her eyes widened in disbelief. The forest was alive. From the shadows, wolves emerged, first a handful, then dozens, until the snow was filled with their hulking forms, their yellow eyes glinting in the morning light. She counted and lost track. 10, 20, 50. By the time the circle was complete, nearly 100 wolves surrounded her little cabin, their bodies standing like sentinels between her and the hunters. The men froze in place. Their bravado melted into terror. Guns shook in their hands as the leader cursed under his breath. This isn't possible, but it was. One massive wolf stepped forward from the pack, his coat silver and scarred, his presence commanding. His eyes locked onto Alina's through the window. For a moment, everything around her disappeared. The hunters, the pain, the fear. It was as if he understood. She had saved one of theirs, and now they would protect her. The hunters didn't dare fire, now with 100 wolves ready to tear them apart. Slowly, cursing and stumbling, they backed away into the forest, their plans shattered. Inside, Alina dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. The cub stirred in her lap, breathing more steadily now, its tiny paw resting against her hand as if thanking her. The wolves didn't leave immediately. They remained until the hunters were gone, standing guard like loyal guardians of the woman who had shown compassion where others showed cruelty. Only when the sun rose higher did the silver wolf raise his head, let out a single haunting howl, and lead the pack back into the forest. Alina sat in the silence that followed, trembling but alive, her heart pounding with awe. She had thought herself alone in the world, weak and forgotten. But in that moment, she realized kindness is never wasted. Even in the wild, even in the darkest places, it has the power to return 100-fold. The cub grew stronger over the days that followed. Alina fed it, cared for it, and watched as it limped less and less, became her companion, her shadow, her reason to keep going. And though the wolves rarely showed themselves again, sometimes at night she would hear distant howls carried on the wind. They were not threats. They were promises. She was no longer alone. And in saving one small life, she had unknowingly earned the protection of an entire pack. Sometimes, the smallest act of courage is enough to awaken a miracle.